Live from Studio B, welcome to Rotor Talk Live, your weekly home for the latest consumer drone news, rumors, reviews, and tips. Since 2017, we've helped drone fans stay on top of what's rumored, what's flying, new specs, features, updates, and expert analysis. Hosted by Bill the Drone Reviewer and co-hosted by Ron Brown from Drone Nation, we keep you up to date on everything in the consumer drone space.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 9, Episode 22, DJI and the USA, where things stand. Hope everyone is doing well today. Hope you guys, I've received a lot of positive comments about the new logos, the intro, the outro, the opening, and of course, the Mystery Woman is based 100% on my beautiful wife. It's totally legit, totally 100%. So that's where that is. I want to welcome everybody. We've got a good crowd in the house tonight. Let's see who's all here. Carlos Castillo, welcome. Bud's here. USA Drone Flyer, welcome. DD Fellows, Phil, welcome. Let's see who else? RJ Redding, welcome. Let's see. Steve Porter, welcome. RP Guy, welcome. Gator Drone, welcome. Carlos Moran, welcome. Let's see who else we got. Drone Views Media. Let's see who else here. Oh, Dr. Ted is here. Welcome. Dale is here. Welcome, Dale. Let's see who else. Where did I get that? That's good question. What I did was that's actually based on a picture of my wife from my daughter's wedding a few years ago, and just used AI, and it did its thing, and I'm very pleased with it. And trust me, it would not be allowed to proceed if I didn't have the blessing of my beautiful wife. So, but all things said, I think I'm really pleased with it. Really, really. Joni Oki, welcome. Good to see you tonight. Yeah. So that's kind of where that stands. Got a lot to talk about tonight. One of the things we are going to talk about when we get to the DJI 100% portion of the show is I received an email response from DJI about the Avata 360, and that's something you want to keep your ears to the ground with. Okay, seriously, that's something that you do want to pay attention to. Some of the other things we got to talk about as well too. Some sort of, I don't want to say great news, but good news in terms of how the drone community has been responding to some things. So that's always good to hear that as well too. And I did receive, and I want to let you guys know before we really kind of get into some things here. I got a couple of comments. They weren't really, I don't want to really call them questions, but it's kind of like, well, we can't really get the Lito. Why are you talking about it? Well, granted, a majority or a lot of the people that watch Rotor Talk Live are here in the United States, but there's I have a lot of subscribers overseas and in Canada as well too, if I look at my numbers as far as my stats are concerned. So I want to be fair to everybody with that. And that's why I am going to be covering some things. And there's a couple of great videos out there from Sean from Air Photography that I want to talk about as well too. So let's go ahead and get started here. And I have a new chair, and this one is buying the farm. That's for sure. The pneumatic arm on this, there's some days it'll just start sinking down. So, all right. Greg Pittman, welcome. Good to see you tonight. Thank you for stopping by. Art, welcome. Thank you for stopping here. Sergeant Rock, welcome. Good to see you guys. And I want to thank those of you specifically. We'll get started here in a second. I want to thank those of you specifically who cross over on Wednesday nights to watch me on Ham Radio Basics, on Ham Radio Basics Live Wednesday at 5. Thank you guys so much. You don't know how much that means a ton to me. And you can see this is my one of my new logos for Ham Radio Basics here. So I thought I'd display that shirt up here tonight. So okay, all right. Let's go ahead and All right. First article we're going to talk about is, I don't want to call it, it's not a major article, but I think it's some food for thought, and I have talked about this before, and I'm glad that Kestelug did an article on Drone XL about this. Lexar Professional Silver Plus 1 terabyte review, the micro SD card that lives in my drone now, and with good reason, and I can tell you that, and just kind of flip down through here now. All these articles, as always, I have them out on Build a Drone Reviewer Facebook group. So you guys are welcome to read the article here. All right. I split the two cards across two very different drones. The 1 terabyte stays in the Mini 5 Pro. The 256 now lives in my anti-gravity A1. The AK-360-degree drone that I took out for a weekend at Croton Landing Park on the Hudson River. Okay. All right. And, he gets into it here. The Lexar Professional Silver Plus is a premium UHS-1 card built for creators. Okay. Lexar Professional Silver Plus official specifications. It lists them here. The 1 terabyte card, yeah, it's going to set you back $299. Okay. The other ones are well within reach. Okay. And it talks about the speed, and I think that's one thing that you need to be real mindful of is the speed on these cards, because you can get a card that costs less. It's going to have, say, that 256 or that 512 on there, but it's not. But if it's less than a D60, you're going to get less than desirable results, especially when you're talking the anti-gravity and also when you're talking the Avata 360, because remember, natively that's 8K video you're shooting right there. So you need to be very mindful of that. So, if you have those two drones specifically, that's why I went ahead and I ponied up. I got 256 gigabyte V60 Lexar card for the anti-gravity for my Avata 360. Sorry, that was a Freudian slip right there. But no, I got it, and it's working real well, and I'm real pleased with the results, and it's seamless. I mean, it really is seamless. And one of the other things I think DJI has been good about too, and I'm ready to go throw this chair through the window right now. One of the things DJI has been really good about is if you put in a SD card that's not up to specs, it will let you know. It will tell you right away when you put that card in there. I mean, there's no hesitation on DJI's part for that. So just, be mindful of that, and be mindful of these drones and their specs, and go out to look at the official specifications for each drone. And it'll list them here. Now, okay, right speed is not the number drone pilots should chase. And he's talking about that right here. Drone compatibility and card requirements, Mini 4 Pro, Mini 5 Pro, Air 3S, Mavic 3 Pro, Mavic 4 Pro, DJI storage card quick reference. Okay. And Silver Plus 1 terabyte Mini 4 Pro exceeds requirements for the Mini 4 Pro. For the Mini 5 Pro, officially listed for the 1 terabyte. Air 3S, it exceeds requirements. Mavic 3 Pro exceeds requirements. And for the Mavic 4 Pro, officially listed right here, and talks about max capacity. Mini 4 Pro is 512. Mini 5 Pro is 512 with 42 gig internal. No stated limit on the Air 3S or the Mavic 3 Pro. 512 gigabyte micro SD card max capacity on the Mavic 4 Pro. So, okay, that's, Hay's done a great job. And this is an article I think you want to come back and reference to. I think it's really important, because I know a lot of times I will get a lot of comments and questions about, my video stutters, it's slow, these kind of things. And a lot of that, I won't say all of it, but a lot of that is going to be due to your SD card, because you get out there and you get tempted to get these less expensive SD cards, and you got to check that speed on there, and check that against this article as well too, and against official specs that DJI has out there. You got to be really careful with that, okay? Because you go out there and you're recording things, say like in AK60, okay, it's like, yeah, you need to have that upscale card. And the Silver Series is something I would highly recommend. It's going to set you back a little bit of money, but you're not going to have things to worry about with that. So again, this is a word to the wise as far as that's concerned right here. Real world speed results, and he gets into that. This is really good. Like I said, you want to bookmark this and reference this. It's so important. This chair. Yeah. Yeah, Joni. Okay. I know a lot of people have not either. And that's a good thing. Buy your SD cards from B&H. Rule number 2, if you bought it on eBay, pray before takeoff. Danny, you that I could not agree with you more. Okay. B&H is absolutely fine. I agree. eBay? Yeah. Okay. I ordered some Lexar cards, those silver cards. Okay. I did not get those back. And I had a real tug of war with the seller over that. And it did not match the picture that he had listed. And finally, he gave me a refund. And he told me to keep the cards. And I'm like, okay, but they're useless to me. I cannot use those in the drones. So I have a stack of SD cards sitting here, and I may just put them out there and tell you guys, come and get them if you want them. Okay. That's about where that is. Oh, okay, Johnny. Yeah. I had heard something about that. I don't know if Marcus had mentioned something about that or not, but I think you're right. I think they did make those. You're right. You're right on that score. Okay. That's good, Dr. Ted. That's really good. A lot of our experiences can sometimes be different as well, too. And the big rule of thumb is the first thing you want to do after you get that SD card in there is you want to format it. Okay. I have a lot of people who don't format it and go out and they start shooting and, something goes a little sideways. You need to format it when you put that SD card in there. I can't say that enough. So, but again, I would seriously bookmark this article, reference it. I wish the article was downloadable or that, hey, put this in a PDF format. I'm gonna ping Hay to see if he might have this in a PDF format because it really is that good. It does have a lot of great information on it. And I went through this and I was saying the same thing to myself. I said, I really hope that this is that Hay has this in a format that you can download to like a PDF because he really did a lot of work on this and a great job. And I'll send him a message to see if we can get that. There he is. How you doing, Ron?
Hello, Bill. How are you tonight?
Good. Just going over Hay put together a great article on the Lexar Silver Plus and SD cards in general right now. I just went over that, and it's really good. And I'm going to ping him to see if he has it like in a PDF format to share because it's really good. I don't know if you had a chance to see it or not.
I did not see the article.
Yeah, he really did a great job with this. I mean, really kind of broke things down. Focused on the Mini 4 Pro, Mini 5 Pro, Air 3S, Mavic 3 Pro, and the Mavic 4 Pro. And the differences there. And I really like how he handled it. I think he thought he did a great job. So definitely when you get a chance to, it's an article you want to definitely go back and read for sure.
Good. Yeah. I've almost never had a SD card issue with the drone before, so it's not something I've run across in my years. Usually I buy a card that usually looks like it hits the specs and it works, 95% of the time.
Well, the thing that I used to do, and I still do, is go to the official specs that DJI has listed and look at the SD cards that are listed on there. And I not necessarily get the same brand per se, like say SanDisk or, whatever the brand is listed, but the other specs on there, like the speed, the read-write capabilities, that kind of thing, match those numbers up. And I think more often than not, it does a good job. But the one thing that I've noticed that DJI is really good at is if that SD card isn't really going to work, it'll kick it back. It'll let you know right away when you open that app up. I mean, it doesn't hesitate about that, which I think is a good thing. And I think it saves people a lot of headache, and aggravation.
I've run into more SD card problems with digital cameras over the years where you want to record a video and it won't even let you do it because the car is not fast enough. Or I've never hit that in a drone.
Wow. Yeah, that's I think this is good. And like I said, I'm going to try to see. I'm going to email Hay and see if he has this article in a PDF because it's so good. And I think we should have copies of that available to people because it's something that it is very shareable. It's very doable. And I really like it. I really, really, really like that. So, let's see here. What's the next thing? Oh yeah. Our good friend Sean at Air Photography, he did a review of the Lito X1 1 month later, and I do want to go ahead and cover that. Now, I know a lot of people right now are saying, "Well, why are you covering this for? We can't get the Lito X1." Well, true, here in the United States we can't, but there are a lot of people that watch Rotor Talk and Drone Nation and other shows that don't live in the United States. And I want to make sure that they know about these articles that are out there. And again, this was done really well. This was 30 days into flying the DJI Lito X1. Budget price, premium features. Lito versus X1. What's the difference? And Sean gets into that. Why under 250 grams matters. New beginner line is DJI's lineup. Camera and video capabilities. Active Track 360 in action. Storage and charging, advanced return to home and dynamic home point, incredible tech for a new generation of flyers. And it's not just for beginners. I mean, Sean really, I did watch it. It's a great video. It's something if you're able to buy the Lito or Lito X1, that should be a drone that you should consider. They're really that good, Ron.
And I reached out to Sean about the fact that nobody ever reviews the Lito 1, only the X1. He said he plans on trying to get a hold of a Lito 1 to do a full review on it.
That's good. That's really good because I know, almost always if I see him popping up with a review, boom, I'm going to go out there and watch that because I know he cuts to the chase. He doesn't have any fluff. Gives you exactly what you need to know. And that's why I like going to him for these reviews because he's really spot on. And he's very glowing about it. And as well he should be. It's a great drone. It's a great price. It's the new mini drone for DJI. I mean, that's DJI's path going forward right now. New budget mini drone. Let me put it to you that way. So
right. Well, but budget's a loose word on a product that we don't have U.S. pricing because it's not U.S. product. But like even the base drone in other countries, it's like, $700, $750. I mean, that's not even a Flummer combo. I mean, we have a new base because that's not what I've considered a budget drone or whatever in the past.
Maybe
the Lito 1 was a budget drone, but the Lito 1, I look at it, it's not much less than the Mini 4 Pro when it came out.
Exactly. So yeah,
I don't think it should be a budget. I mean, I'm not saying it should be cheap because a lot of features, people just use the word budget with it. And I don't know who, ask somebody that's really shopping for a budget drone if $700-800 or whatever, or, more for the Flummer combo, if that's in there, if that's what they're looking for as a budget price drone. I just don't agree with it as a budget price drone.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ron. I've seen a lot of people coin the term and calling it a budget drone, or so as to not confuse it with the Mini 5 Pro or the Mini 4 Pro series of drones. They use that moniker budget, but I agree with you. I think you're right. I think you probably want to call it a different class of mini drones. But they're not. They're fitting that niche again. The DJI really needed fitting was in terms of an actual price point, because it's not like a the super budget drone that DJI offers. It's not the Mini 5 Pro either. It kind of falls more towards the Mini 5 Pro than towards a true budget drone.
Yeah, and Bill, DJI is only competing with themselves at that price point. Nobody else is selling the super drone for $750, $800. DJI is only competing with themselves. I mean, the Lito 1 that's rumored to sell a little over $30, then that's in a crowded space of real budget drones. But said the Lito X1 is only competing with DJI's other drones.
Exactly. Now, Sean also did an article on the Lito X1 return to home return to home explain when to use optimal versus preset, and he gets into a great explanation on that. I did see that as well too, and again how preset return to home works, demonstrating optimal in a complex environment, and he did do a good test on that, demonstrating preset return to home. Which return to home mode should you use? And he gives you some advice based upon his experience with that. So all in all, I mean, that's another fair shakedown. And I think that's something for those of you that have the Lito should watch and should pay attention to are these videos, especially from Sean. He's going to shoot you straight. He's going to give it to you right away. Not a lot of fluff, just gets right to the point. So those are some videos I think you should probably gear towards. Now, we're going to go ahead and start the DJI portion of the show tonight here. And the one thing that I wanted to start this off with here, let me see if I got the article up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, I went ahead and because I got a ton of feedback from my video from last week about the Avata 360, the FCC ID, the label, all of that. And I've got a lot of would-be drone reviewer replies, okay, or would-be people that have the crystal ball and have the answer replies. All right. Well, I got a reply from DJI, and this is from DJI official. So I want to make that crystal clear with everybody. Okay. It took a couple of days. They actually took exactly 3 days to kind of get back to me on this, which that's kind of like neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and see if I can bring this up here. Okay. All right. Dear Bill Harose, greetings from DJI Technical Support. We hope you're doing great so far. Thank you for reaching out to us with your inquiry regarding the FCC ID on your drone. To address your question directly, yes, you are correct. Obtaining FCC certification is a requirement for products to comply with relevant U.S. regulators and standards, which allows them to be legally sold and used in the U.S. market. Therefore, a device without FCC certification is considered illegal for operation in the United States. We hope this clarifies your concern. Please know that the system will automatically send out notifications if no reply is received within 2 days. You can continue replying when you have the time if you have further questions. Thank you for choosing DJI and have a great day. There it is, Ron. It's in black and white. Okay. If you don't have that FCC ID on the label, it's not legal to fly in the United States. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which
because I know
which is what we assumed.
Right. That's exactly what we assumed. And I had a lot of people get back to me here, and they said they heard from someone that says that they're okay to fly and everything. And then I cut and pasted and sent some portions of some other things that I had seen. And I went out and I wanted to get it directly from DJI to be able to send it out to everybody. And I have this posted on Bill the Drone Reviewer Facebook group for everybody to see. And, whatever anybody else tells you, reference that against this. Okay. That's the standard right there. All right.
Unless that person's Brendan Carr telling you that.
Yeah. Unless it's Brendan Carr. Okay. He's the only other one that could probably overrule that. But if it's not there, it's not there. And you can't make that up. All right. And, I know Marcus, when he got the Lito X1, was looking for it and he couldn't find it. And if you can't find it, it's not there. It's not going to magically appear. You wave your magic wand over the drone or the battery compartment. It's not going to appear. And that was the same thing in this case as well, too.
Joe Noki has a question in the chat that's probably important to answer. Three ones back where it says, why would they register the drones?
That's a good question. Yeah, I agree, Johnny.
My guess would be that since you were able to register the Avata 360, the Chinese model, Marcus is able to register Lito 1, that they'll let you register anything instead of $5 in.
Okay. I registered mine with DJI. I did not register mine with the FAA, but people said you can do that. I think those are separate systems. Okay. I don't think they're integrated at all. All right. So you can register you have a serial number for a drone, it'll take it. It's not going to, that's not the bellwether. Okay. The bellwether is what we saw right there from DJI and what we have from the FCC, period. That's it. I don't care what any other drone reviewer tells you guys. Okay. And here's what to say to them. Okay. Say, okay, I'll buy it. But if I get into trouble, you're going to pay all my legal fees with the FCC, right? You're going to take care of me if I go to jail. You're going to bail me out, right? Okay. And then you'll hear crickets. So yeah. So this is it. What you see right here is it. You can't refute this at all. There's no refuting this unless Brendan Carr does.
Let's make this clear, Bill. We're not talking about every Avata 360. We're only talking about the Chinese
exactly
360. If you bought a 360 from South Korea or anywhere but from mainland China, you're probably good.
Right. Okay. And one of the easiest ways to tell, granted, you can look in the battery compartment, and that's the definitive way, is to look in the battery compartment as we demonstrated last week. But the other way to tell is when you fire the app up, okay, that you don't have that pop-up about 4G LTE, all right? If you don't have that pop-up, you have an international version and you're good, all right? That's basically the bottom line as far as that's concerned. So, but no, I wanted to get this out. I wanted to get it cleared out. I wanted to make sure people knew 100%. Okay, this is from DJI. This isn't from XXX drone reviewer. Okay, this is from DJI. Go with what DJI has said and what the FCC says. That's it. That's all you need to know. All right, and check your drones like I did. Okay, and I got to say again, and I want to make sure that I mention this, is I want to thank Evelyn for we work things out together, and had some mutual satisfaction. I did get a replacement. I got it from Adorama. It's fine. It's an international version. It's good to go. So, and I'm going to keep the batteries and the charging case from it. I am going to sell the controller, and I haven't have it listed yet. But if you're interested in a new controller, let me know. I've only used it 3 times. So, it's been unlinked. So it's good to go. So if you're interested in that, email me at buildadronereviewer@gmail.com or message me on Facebook, and I'll make you a good deal on it. So let me know about that. So, all right, we're going to move on.
Dronoki has another question. He said, did you get the 360 from B&H Photo? Well, Dronoki, Bill initially ordered it directly from Evelyn, who operates out of mainland China. But then after that, faux pas, we'll call it, then he ordered directly from B&H Photo in the U.S. Is that pretty accurate, Bill?
I ordered from Adorama.
Adorama, yeah.
I ended up getting mine from Adorama. So,
so the second one came from it shipped from the U.S. to you. So, you didn't have to worry about customs or anything at that point. It was already here. This Adorama.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to move on to the next article here, and again, in line with DJI. And this is actually, I'm going to put I want to put some positive spin on this right here. Okay. DJI swamped with angry pleas. FCC swamped with angry pleas over DJI Autel drone ban. All right. Washington's fight over Chinese drones is no longer just a national security debate happening inside congressional hearing rooms. For thousands of Americans, it's becoming a deeply personal issue tied to jobs, emergency response, roof inspection, farming operations, photography businesses, and even search and rescue missions, okay? More than 3,000 plus public comments have been filed in response to DJI's FCC petition, roughly 10 times the volume seen in compatible FCC proceedings, showing how emotionally charged and economically significant the issues become for drone users across the country. The comments come from small business owners, firefighters, police departments, inspectors, photographers, and recreational pilots. While the submissions represent only a small sample of America's drone community, together they paint a picture of an industry heavily dependent on affordable Chinese-made drones, especially those from DJI and Autel Robotics. Many of those users say simply, there is no realistic American replacement today. Ron, that's very encouraging because, we go out there and we tell people, especially, if Vic Moss posts something, I get it out to Build a Drone Review Facebook group and says, hey, go ahead and get out there and put your comment out there about things like this. People are listening, Ron, and that's so encouraging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's good to see that people respond to that comment period.
Yeah, and I'm real pleased to see that here, and I think it's important in this light, okay, that anytime anything like this comes up, go out there and do that. Now, I enlisted ChatGPT to help me. I fed it some parameters, and it came out with some wonderful verbiage that was grammatically correct, accurate, represented, my involvement with drones, and I cut and pasted that in there, and I was very, very pleased with it. So, but again, having that many responses out there is really, that sends a real strong message to them that we're not taking this line down. All right. That is some very positive news as far as that's concerned. So I definitely wanted to go ahead and mention that. Now, some other positive news here as well too. And let me see if I get that article up. Okay. And this is from Drone DJ, and this is some encouraging news here. And I wanted to go ahead and get this posted out here. All right. DJI critics won't like what this drone security audit found. All right. The company has released the findings of what it calls the most comprehensive independent security assessment ever conducted on its drone systems, and the results are likely to send shockwaves through America's drone industry, public safety agencies, small businesses, and Washington itself. According to the report, a U.S.-based cybersecurity firm spent 5 months aggressively trying to break, hijack, manipulate, intercept, and expose vulnerabilities in DJI's drone ecosystem. What they found could completely reshape the conversation or make the political fight even uglier. The assessment was conducted by OnDefend, a U.S. cybersecurity company staffed by former military and government security professionals. The testing targeted two of DJI's newest systems, the dual-camera Air 3S and the enterprise-focused Matrice 4E. All right. After months of advertised testing across hardware, firmware apps, radio frequencies, supply chain components, and network traffic, the firm reported something few expected to hear: 0 critical findings, 0 high-risk findings, 0 medium-risk findings. This alone is enough to ignite fierce debate online, but the details are even more dramatic. According to the report, testers found no evidence of data being transmitted outside the United States. All observed app connections reportedly resolved to U.S.-based infrastructure. Okay. They also reported no hidden backdoors, no unauthorized remote access mechanisms, and no successful attempts to jailbreak or manipulate the drone controllers. Even the radio frequency analysis, one of the most sensitive parts of the investigation, reportedly uncovered no unexplained or covert transmissions here. Okay. In plain English, they tried hard to break these drones, and they did, and they weren't able to do that. DJI says more than 80% of the 1,800 plus state and local law enforcement agencies using drones rely on DJI systems. Even more alarming for many small businesses is another statistic included in the release. 43% of drone businesses users reportedly believe restrictions on DJI would have an extremely negative or even business-ending impact. Okay, Ron, this is an incredible finding.
They passed with flying colors, but not surprising. These results did not surprise me. I don't know how much effect it'll have with the people in the government that are trying to shut the drones down, because they've been doing all this based on no fact that they ever put out there. So again, I don't know what it means to people like Rick Scott and Lee Stefanik and Brandon Carr.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Well, as everybody knows, they've taken this to court. All right. And how that's going to proceed, we don't know. But DJI is not sitting on its hands and taking this lightly. They're really kind of pushing the issue back here. And, it's going to come to the point that the United States is going to have to show what kind of evidence it has. All right. And so far, Ron, they haven't shown any evidence at all, nothing about this.
Right, and they didn't even go through the audit they were supposed to do. So they were supposed to do an audit like this, and they did not do it. So DJI had to
Yeah,
get
and
a third party.
and everybody here, what I have to say is, everybody, at this point right here, has to say, this is good. This is a good thing, and I know that time after time again, people have pressured Stefanik when she was involved with this, Rick Scott from Florida, others on it ad nauseum for evidence, and they use the words national security, okay, and they use the words we can't release anything because due to national security, okay, and that's just a big umbrella that it's falling under here, okay. There's
Bill,
no
has anybody actually involved with national security? Military was has anybody like that's said there was a problem, or is this politicians saying this stuff, not actual people that are in intelligence?
I think it's the politicians in their offices are saying this, that it's because of national security concerns, and that's the most that they will tell you, and then the conversation ends right there, and it's very easy for things to lump things under national security. It's really ludicrous, finding out, that we're paying, $1,000 for a toilet lid on a military base. All right. And, saying, well, we can't tell you about that because that falls under national security. I'm like, what? A general's going to sit on the throne there? I mean, seriously, what's the deal with that? And it's the same thing here. Okay. They're blanketing this under this, and they have nothing there. It's a nothing burger. And the more this goes on, the more we're going to find this out. And I think some smart and savvy judge may just toss this whole thing, especially if the government says, it's under national security. And then, they see all these results from all these audits showing absolutely nothing. And, the judge is going to say, put up or shut up, or I'm just going to toss this case out and DJI is free to sell drones in the United States. I mean, that's how I'm taking a look at it, Ron.
Yeah, I mean, but that one case is DJI already got ruled against, where the judge said that the government didn't really provide any proof, but that they tend to rule in favor of national security people in these type of cases, whether there's evidence or not. They tend to side with the national security concerns.
Well, I'm going to go back here, and Dale, I do want to go ahead and address this here. I understand what you're saying, but that response could be taken different ways to me. Does it mean if the drone itself isn't approved by the FCC? It could mean that to me. Well, what it means is that battery inside the battery compartment, the label, it has to have the FCC ID on it. And if it doesn't have the FCC ID on it, that means that drone is illegal to operate and own in the United States, period. I mean, DJI was really clear about it. The FCC was really clear about that. I mean, you can feel free to go out to Build a Drone Reviewer Facebook group and take a look at that email. I mean, it's the language is very clear on that, and the FCC's language is very clear. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, there's nothing that we can do about that. So, I mean, the easy way to solve the problem is to, if you can, return the drone if that's possible, or like I did, I reached an agreement with Evelyn, and I went ahead and I used some of that money to go ahead and buy a new Avata 360 from Adorama, an international version, and I'm very pleased, and it all worked out. So, I mean, there's a very simple solution to that. So, that's how that works. So, but continuing this conversation right here, one of the other things was, and I saw another article out here which was incredible, and it really, really kind of encapsulates this. Everybody's saying, well, the United States is going to start up and get into some drone, building drones here. Well, this article that was out on Drone DJ today kind of like really sets this thing straight here. The U.S. wants to move beyond DJI drones, but can it? Okay. Washington may want America to move beyond DJI, but one big question keeps hanging over the debate. Who can realistically replace the company's affordable, widely used drones at the same scale? The question sits at the center of a filing submitted to the FCC by Unmanned Vehicles Technologies, one of the country's largest drone dealers and public safety drone integrators. Okay. And that doesn't mean the Arkansas-based company is dismissing national security concerns around Chinese technology. UVT reportedly acknowledged the FCC's responsibility to investigate cybersecurity and communication risks, but the company argues that they moved effectively to freeze DJI the US market should be based on publicly verifiable evidence, not assumptions linked solely to the company's Chinese origins. And again, that's where that's happening right now. And according to UVT, the consequences of getting this wrong could ripple across nearly every corner of America's drone industry here. And the article gets into this, into a good discussion here. And that's something that I would recommend for you guys to go ahead and read. With this, Ron, again, this is kind of like putting the cart before the horse. Let's go ahead and get rid of DJI, but, we don't have a workable solution in place. All right. And if you don't have a workable solution in place, why are you forcing DJI at the door? I mean, you don't even have, Skydio, they're not a replacement for it. And, so many of the drones that are used here are what I would call not enterprise level drones. Okay. There's a lot of what we would call, photography based businesses that use consumer drones. It's, for example, yourself. Okay.
Right.
And others out there that do that, they're totally based, a large part of their income and their profits on being able to go out and do videography and photography. Okay. There's roof inspectors out there. There's house inspectors. I mean, it's just ad nauseum. There's line inspectors that go up and inspect the lines, transmission tower lines, cell phone lines. It just, the list goes on and on and on, and it's not necessarily needing enterprise level drones to do that. So, I mean, it really is a story that is really starting to come out right now and we knew that going into this, okay, that there wasn't anybody waiting in the works to, jump in and take DJI's place. It just wasn't going to happen right now.
It may never happen. All these startup American companies, they may never produce an affordable consumer drone.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, as far as I know, none of them ever announced that they were going to release a affordable consumer drone. And most of these companies, they're just they're just paper right now. These companies, what American drone companies actually have a factory and are producing drones as we speak right now?
Yeah, I mean, that's a real good question. Skydio gets in, and here's the thing, okay? If you do a deep dive into Skydio, all right, I know they get their batteries from China, all right? I know that for a fact. And a lot of their components, when they were still in the consumer drone business, almost all their components came from China. I mean, it's like, Adam is just, okay, he's a piece of work. And, he's really turned the tables on DJI, but yet, he doesn't really have a leg to stand on because his company is solely based on getting parts and supplies from China. So like we said, there's really no good American option at all right now. None, especially for consumers. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing, Ron.
Right. I mean, if somebody asked me, I wouldn't even know what to tell them. I mean, and of course, all those other companies, all the other Chinese companies are banned along with DJI. But I mean, current alternatives, if you wanted an Air 3S like drone, but not from DJI, I wouldn't know what to tell them, right, Bill?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't have an answer for that. And, and that's something I think is going to be debated. Now we'll probably see something going, this is going to be coming to court sometime this year. And it's going to be something I think we should all keep our ear to the ground about to see how this is going to transpire and go down, because, so many people's lives and businesses are totally dependent upon being able to use these consumer drones, mostly for photography or videography. I mean, for real estate shooting, weddings, events, that kind of thing, consumer drones are it. And, we're still allowed to use DJI drones here in the United States as far as that's concerned. So, I don't know how this is all going to play out, Ron, but I got to think that a judge is going to say, look, eventually in the United States, you guys need to show us evidence, okay, of why you're saying this is a national security concern. If I don't see any evidence here, I'm just going to toss this out and rule in favor of DJI. I mean, something like that is probably more than likely going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, so far we've had pretty easy, Bill. We've been talking a lot about it, but so far this year, DJI's only released the Avata 360, which did get FCC approval, so we are allowed to buy it and fly if you can get it in the U.S. But the Lito drones, I mean, a lot of us had no interest in Lito drones because it's a bargain. Well, it's supposedly a budget line of drones, and people already own like the Mini 5. Have no need for that drone. Now, the Aqua drone just got released from Hover, and now that's kind of like the first kind of waterproof camera drone in its class. That's something that we will not be able to get, and that's something we don't, nobody else has a type of drone. And of course, the Potensic Atom 3, people have shown it's going to come out any day now, not in the U.S., and that's another budget bargain drone that competes in the same category that the Lito drones is. But what I'm trying to say is there's been anybody that owns DJI's top of line drones, Mavic 4 Pro, Air 3S, Mini 5 Pro, nothing's come out this year except for the Aqua drone would really been anything we really would have needed, because we already had better than that or whatever. Yeah, but come later in the year, if the Air 4 shows up, that's when we'll start to feel it a little bit,
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think for where we're at right now, I think we're very well positioned in terms of the drones that we have access to and can purchase and use. I think we're good. I really are. We cover a lot of bases with these drones that are out there and available to us right now that we can just, pretty much buy ad nauseum without any hesitation. But the real problem is going to happen, like when Ron said, when we have here an Air 4 or an Air 4S come out or a Mavic 5 Pro come out, and then everybody's going to go, okay. Everybody's the Lito has stirred the pot up a little bit, but you see an Air 4 and Air 4S come out, and you see a Mavic 5 Pro come out, well, you're going to see a lot of feathers are going to get ruffled here and saying, we don't have access to it. We can't buy it. It's not legal in the United States and all that kind of stuff. And it's really going to get things stirred up. So, one of the things that like I said, we're going to see some action here legally coming up here. I firmly believe something's going to be decided regarding that. So, we'll keep our ears to the ground. Whatever we hear, we'll pass on to you guys. We'll let you know about. But until then, still continue to go out there if you can. Get extra batteries, get extra props, any other accessories, cables, chargers, that kind of thing. Just be ready to kind of weather the storm. It does not hurt to have extra batteries on hand. It does not hurt to have extra props on hand. And those are something that I highly advocate doing and being able to purchase. And a lot of these you can still get. I mean, some you have to get on eBay, some maybe from Evelyn, but I mean, a lot of them are still available on Amazon at decent prices. Same for Adorama or B&H. Adorama and B&H are another two places that you should check out as well too, because I found they're very competitive. That's why I ended up getting my Avata 360 off of Adorama, because pricing was very competitive with what I saw not only B&H, but they also had availability, but also what was out on eBay as well too, and what was out on Amazon. The pricing was very competitive. So you need to also consider taking a look at Adorama and B&H as far as their pricing is concerned. Now, I found one of the things I found between Adorama and B&H, Adorama tends to have them in stock. B&H tends to not have them in stock. So that's kind of like a rough rule of thumb when you're looking at things like that to go out there. So, that's kind of where we're at right now as far as things are concerned here in the United States. And it's something that's a fluid situation. It changes week to week. We don't know what's going on. I mean, we did get some positive news this week, as we saw with, the responses by the drone community to that FCC petition with that security audit that was just done. So, it's encouraging. But I think the message.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ron.
I was just saying, and again, as far as getting drones, that you can again get the Avata 360s. Make sure you get an international version. Make sure you get a Chinese version. The Lito drones, if you really were dying to get the Lito drones, the Sky Rover, I think the Sky Rover X1 is very close to the Lito X1 drone as far as features and pricing. You can still find, maybe not from DJI, you can still find a Mini 4 Pro, which is very comparable. So if you had your heart set in the X1 for about the same price, you can get a very comparable drone. And because you can order the X1 on Amazon, will ship from the US, it won't have to clear customs. You can probably find a Mini 4 Pro for sale that's already in the US, won't have to clear customs. So you're not really out a whole lot at this point. We're basically, screaming, whatever from top of our lungs right here for future drones. Not really what's available. We have what we need right now, but we're worried about the future.
And that's a great.
Again, unless you had your heart set on that aqua drone. If you own a little boat and you want to have that, aqua drone fly in and out of the water, then I feel for you, because there's nothing else like that little aqua drone. And Bill, that's a kind of a niche drone. It's expensive niche drone. That drone starts at $12.99. So that's quite a bit of cash for a little mini drone like the aqua. But I guess for the people that are going to use that, I guess that's a decent price.
Bill Grace, no, I'm not selling my Mavic 4 Pro, just to let you know. But I do have I do have a listing out there on Bill Adjourner Facebook group. Today only, I'm offering free shipping on all those. I did sell the RC Pro 2 controller today. Gentleman did pick that up, and it's on its way as of tomorrow. I do have I have a Neo 2 out there, battery only. I have an Air 3S battery and N3 controller. And I have a Mini 5 Pro battery and N3 controller as well. And you can take a look at the prices out there. If it's something that interests you, you can message me on Facebook or send me a message on Bill Adjourner or Facebook.com or gmail.com, and I'll get back to you. But today, if you go ahead and pull the trigger today, there's no shipping today. Just want to let you guys know that. So, they're very competitively priced. You don't have to worry about eBay. You don't have to worry about tariffs. You don't have to worry about getting stopped.
Customs grabbing a package or anything. Yeah.
It's going to come from Tampa, Florida. Okay. And it'll get to you very quickly. I ship the next day as far as that's concerned. So if you guys are interested, please take a look and see. Just want to let you guys know that's
Bill, we have a couple comments in from Drone Oki and Don Simpson. Don Simpson says the Rover is releasing a smart controller mid drones at Sky Rover, and Drone Oki saying Sky Rover is a new drone coming with RC controller. He can't remember the name of it now. Of course, Sky Rover is a new drone coming. If they're a U.S. company, which we don't think they are, they would have had to get FCC approval before the 23rd on a new Sky Rover drone, right, Bill?
Exactly.
From outside the U.S.
Exactly.
Now, let me ask you, if you mentioned our good friends over at what's the California company that made the tracking drone? Skydio. Now, Skydio would they would of course they would almost be granted FCC approval with no problem if they came out with a consumer drone again, right?
Exactly.
They wouldn't have to jump through any hoops or anything, and do these people think there's no money in the consumer market at all? Skydio, why weren't they pivoted to at least be making at least one consumer drone if they knew they'd had the market all to themselves, right, Bill? I mean, as a consumer, even if you know that consumer is not your main concern, why would you leave money on the table? You're the only person out there going to be making consumer drones in the U.S. Why wouldn't you want to be in that position, Bill?
Oh, I agree 100%, Ron. That's just really kind of flies in the face of logic. If I want to use that terminology right there, it really kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense as far as that's concerned. I wish I had a better answer for it. I really do.
And of course, we talked about this. GoPro, of course, made a drone years ago that failed. But if GoPro still, we know the camera technology, they got that on lockdown. What if they came out with another consumer drone again? They would have the market all to themselves. They'd be the only American drone company.
Yeah, they would. They would. And well, the other thing too,
And even if the drone wasn't that great, as long as it wasn't a disaster, it'd probably still sell, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now, the one thing that I remember, and this was a few years back, was, Parrot really was starting to make some noise when they had, what was the name of their drone that you had, Ron?
The Anafi, yes.
The Anafi, okay.
Which was released about 45 days before the Mavic 2 Pro.
Exactly. And it really was starting to make some noise when all of a sudden they pulled the plug and they decided to go strictly enterprise, because that's what they said they were going to do. But you and Marcus have had some.
Parrot made a whole line of consumer drones all through that era, whatever, and then they just dropped out of the consumer market. I mean, like it was overnight, like a light switch.
Yeah, I mean, it was just
had a whole line of they all the way down from toy drones.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Koopy, you're right. You are absolutely right.
I mean, John's right, and somebody else made the comments. But look, there's a company called Apple. They sell to consumers, and I believe at times they've been the #1 company in the world. So there is money to be made from consumers. Apple's living proof of that. Microsoft, they not only sold to big business, they sold to consumer. I believe they've also been a very, very successful company. So there is money in the consumer game. I mean, maybe enterprise, maybe it's easier, whatever, but a smart company does not leave money on the table.
No, I agree, Ron. I agree 100%. And they don't. And I think, that's what we're seeing with, like Sky Rover, and a lot of people have, and I think, hey, Kessel did an article on it and showed the connection to DJI and a lot of these DJI shell companies that have come up with that.
Is Sky Rover the one that makes the drones in Malaysia or someplace like that?
They make theirs in Malaysia, and and I mean they're not on any list. They're not banned, so they're free to come into the United States. Now, if they're making this V1 with a built-in controller like we have right now, it's going to sell really well, Ron.
Well, but hold on, Bill. Let me get. Maybe I'm wrong here. Okay. They're not on a list like DJI where their products get stopped at the border here, but that thing that happened on December 23rd, they banned all foreign drones from getting FCC approval, no matter whether you were in China or Malaysia. So if I understand that correctly, Sky Rover, being a Malaysian company, could not get FCC approval unless they did.
Well, yeah, that's and I hate to play devil's advocate here, but why are we still allowed to buy Holy Stone drones and Potensic drones and all these other drones that are made over in China?
I mean, I asked Marcus that too, and he said, well, they were all approved ahead of time. Now, it looks like the Potensic Atom 3, the drone everybody wants, will not be right now. I mean, everything you do just rumors. Nobody has a 100% answer, but it looks like the Atom 3 will not be available in the U.S., and that's the drone everybody wants.
Yeah,
because they weren't smart enough to get their FCC approval before the 23rd.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
so you're right, Bill.
Bill was right there. I agree. You're very, very, very correct there, Bill. So any closing thoughts, Ron?
Well, my closing thought is, I believe tonight we had the Bob Dempsey's Golden Knights versus the Carolina Hurricanes game 1, isn't it, Bill?
Yes, that's correct. It is on right now.
Do you have a prediction? Do you have a prediction for that series?
I think the Golden Knights will win in 5 games. That's my prediction.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Not quite sweep, but I think they're going to win in 5 games.
They have home ice?
No, absolutely. Actually, Carolina has home ice here because they had a better record. The home ice goes to the team that had the better record during the regular season, and that was Carolina. But I think Carolina's going to find – we'll see. And this is one of the things that Carolina fans are talking smack. I put them in their place. I went out there on my Florida Panthers X account, and I said, look, you guys wouldn't even be sniffing the Stanley Cup Finals if the Panthers were healthy, because they would have kicked you to the curb like they've done. they have lost two out of the last three Eastern Conference Finals to the Panthers. Okay, and it wasn't even close. Okay, it wasn't even close. So
what don't the Hurricanes have to go all the way? Is their goaltending or their defense not up to par? Or what prevents them from?
Well, they're a team that is built on getting a lead and getting an early lead. And if they don't get the lead, okay, if Vegas scores first, it's going to be an uphill battle for Carolina during these games.
They're not good at coming from behind. Okay,
right? They are not built to come from behind at all. I mean, they have a lot of great players on their team. Don't get me wrong. I think they have good goaltending, but I think Vegas is going to win, and I think Vegas Vegas really surprised Colorado. Colorado, they swept through everybody in the regular season. I mean, it was just like they mowed everybody down. They had over 50 wins. What did it say? They were 50-0-2 when leading after two periods during the regular season. I mean, they mowed people down. And then they came up against Vegas. Well, the thing that really got Vegas where they are right now, they fired their head coach with 7 days left, and they hired John Tortorella. Okay, and John Tortorella is a very high-strung, emotional, fire the players up kind of coach, and he does his job and he does it well. But I think he's the kind of coach that's only really kind of good short-term for a team. I mean, he last coached the Flyers, and he lit a fire under them, and they did well for a while. But then the players kind of gets old with the players, okay. And then he has a real temper, and he has let loose on players, other coaches. He's let loose at referees before as well too. He's gotten into fights with fans. I mean, he's a real powder keg.
Has he ever got any fines from teams in the league before?
Oh yeah, he's got fined by the NHL before. He got fined by the NHL during the last round because he didn't attend a press conference. Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's how that ended up working. So, as far as that's my prediction for the finals here. But the one thing over all this, and I think this is a theme that we've been saying not only on Rotor Talk but on Drone Nation, on Captain Ray's show, on Johnny's show, Bill Thomas's show. Enjoy your drones. Fly them. Have fun with them. I mean, the Avata 360 is just an incredible drone. The other ones that we have as well, too. Enjoy them. I mean, the weather's starting to get nicer just everywhere. Get out. Take that time. Have fun. Fill up your SD card. Get a lot of good video. Put it out to YouTube. Share it. Feel free to share it on Bill the Drone Reviewer. It's fun. And let's enjoy and let's have fun. So
don't get all worked up because you can't get the Litos or whatever.
Exactly. Don't get worked up.
The 3 or
Exactly. So as always, guys, it's a great day to fly. Take care. Have a great rest of your week, and go Knights.